Airways. Government sent a letter on Wednesday to SAA business rescue practitioners committing to support and source funding for the airline's new business rescue plan. The party wants the airline liquidated. For more on this, we're now joined on the line by DA Member of Parliament Geordin Hill-Lewis. Mr. Hill-Lewis, have you filed for an urgent interdict in the High Court in Pretoria to stop government from bailing out the South African Airways, and why is this?
Good afternoon. It's really nice to be with you. And yes, we have filed an urgent interdict application in the Gauteng North High Court to stop government using its emergency powers under the Public Finance Act to bail out South African Airways again. Remember, earlier this year in February, they gave South African Airways 16.4 billion rand. This would be another at least 10 that we know of, 10 billion rand on top of that they got in February. So we just think that at the moment, given the crisis that's happening in the country, given the amount of suffering that people are going through, how many people have lost their jobs and businesses that are closed, and the needs, for example, in our health system where people are running out of oxygen and there aren't enough oxygen bottles to go around for everyone, it's just wrong, unacceptable to be even thinking about giving more billions of public money to South African Airways when this is a company that we know is, it's a zombie state-owned entity. It cannot function properly. It has not in more than a decade, and it is not going to now. Nothing has changed fundamentally that is going to make it all of a sudden an efficient and profitable and competitive company. So it just does not deserve public bailout support, and there are many much more important priorities in our country at the moment.
What's the status of that application you made to the courts?
Well, we've heard from the government that they intend to oppose our application, and we're now waiting for their answering affidavits, and we're waiting for a court date. We hope that we can get a court date as soon as Tuesday, because South African Airways needs the cash very urgently. They've already burned through all the money that they got earlier on, and they need more cash very urgently. And so we hope to be able to be in court sometime this week, even on Tuesday, hopefully, to argue that case. And I think it's revealing that government has indicated that they intend to oppose us, because that just proves that they were planning to use these emergency powers, or they at least want to keep it open as an option to them for the bailout.
So you've given Finance Minister Tito Mboweni until today at 5 p.m. to file an answering affidavit. What will happen if he doesn't do so?
Well, then we must ask the courts to intervene on that matter and set down a date for them to file an answering affidavit. As I've just explained, we think it is a very urgent matter because of the cash flow crisis that SAA has. And if they don't file today, then we'll just have to ask the court to set a date for them to file.
Yeah. What solutions does the Democratic Alliance have in terms of reviving SAA?
Well, the question we need to ask first is should it be revived at all? There is absolutely no public benefit to South African Airways. South African Airways employs a tiny number of people compared to the number of people who are unemployed, for example, in South Africa, or the number of people who need help in our hospitals right now. And it delivers a service that is very efficiently delivered by lots of other companies without any public support. So the question we must ask is it fair for 58 million South Africans, you and me and everyone listening to this show, even if you don't have a job, you are still paying for South African Airways, because when you pay that, when you pay fuel prices, whatever, you are helping to fund South African Airways. And what benefit does the public receive from it? Absolutely nothing. It is a government-subsidized service basically for middle-class holiday travelers and the business elite. In short, the answer to your question is we do not believe that South African Airways should be revived. It should be sold. It does have some assets that could be sold to recover some money, And government, it's entirely possible, and this has happened many other places around the world, that the government sets a license condition for a new airline that they operate under the name of South African Airways, so that the name and the idea of a national carrier does not disappear, but it doesn't cost the public tens of billions of rands every year.
I'm going to ask you a question that's been asked in several instances when opposition or other parties or other interested parties have had to go to the courts. What's the purpose? What becomes the purpose of Parliament then, if you have to go the route of litigation when you wanting to see a desired outcome?
Oh, that's a great question. We are actually, the purpose of our court case is to try and strengthen Parliament. We are not saying that governments cannot bail out SAA, because they are, if they go through the proper process through Parliament, they can. We will oppose them in Parliament and we will vote against it in Parliament. But if they bring a proper bailout bill, a new budget to Parliament, and go through the process, have public hearings and vote for it, then they are absolutely entitled to do that. What we are objecting to is them not using Parliament and going around Parliament by using their emergency powers in the Act. Now, this is clearly not an emergency. I mean, this is just a trick, a sleight of hand that they do to bypass Parliament. So actually, the purpose of our court case is to say, please use the proper parliamentary mechanisms for introducing a new budget if you want to bail out SAA. And then at least every member of the public will see you vote for it, see you choose South African Airways over oxygen bottles in hospitals, for example, and can have an opportunity to participate in that debate.
What do you think are your prospects for success?
That's a tricky one. Lawyers always tell you that you have a great chance of success. I've learned that already. So our lawyers say we have a strong case, but I don't make any predictions about court cases anymore. I've learned the hard way that we've just got to wait to see what happens in court. Okay,
thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Have a good Sunday.
Geordin Hill-Lewis is a DA Member of Parliament. A 32 million rand rural housing project at Peelton near Bisho in the Eastern Cape has